Jessalyn Randle, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being on the podcast. Thank you for taking some time out of your morning in Japan. How's Japan
Thanks for
life?
having me.
Of
Yeah,
course.
it's awesome here. I live in Okinawa, so I'm on a tiny island and it rains a lot, so it's very different. I grew up in Southern California, so it's a lot different than what I'm used to, but it's a cool experience.
Is it sunny? Is you said what's the weather like right now?
Sorry, you skipped out for a second. The it's sunny sometimes, but it rains most of the time. Every
Okay.
month here it rains constantly pretty much, and in the winter or in the summer it's really humid, so it
Wow.
just goes from really rainy to humid and rainy to kind of cold and rainy.
Wow. Well, I just want to say this shout out to your husband for serving the country.
Thank you.
Shout out to you as well because he's not doing it alone. You guys are serving together. So shout out to your guy. Question, is he a carnivore as well?
He's not. No, he
Okay.
doesn't really have any health issues that keep him motivated to stay with it,
Okay.
versus me. Like if I ate something, I would get a pretty quick reaction to it. So I'm more motivated to not eat it. With him, nothing manifests. So he's like, I can just eat this. I'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. So with that said, let's just get into it and talk about your carnivore lifestyle. Uh, what motivated you to choose the carnivore life? I don't want to say diet. Let's just call it a lifestyle. What motivated you to take that route versus all the other, diets that are out there?
Well, I had tried so many different things before I tried carnivore, and nothing was really working. I was really frustrated. I was working out all the time and not losing weight. The only time I could ever lose weight is if I actually starved myself, but that's not sustainable.
Yeah,
So I would gain the weight, lose the weight, gain the weight, lose the weight. So my husband actually found the Sean Baker Joe Rogan podcast. Have you seen that one?
I have not. No.
Sean Baker, who kind of named the carnivore diet, he went on Joe Rogan and was talking about it. And my husband found that episode and thought it could help me a lot. So he showed it to me and I watched it. And what he said made a lot of sense to me. And I thought to myself, what do I really have to lose? I've tried so many other things and nothing's worked. I might as well just give this a shot. And I tried it January 2020 for World Carnivore Month and never really looked back after that.
That's interesting. I haven't heard much about the carnivore lifestyle up until maybe Carnivore MD, maybe even the Liver King when he became famous. And like I had known nothing about it. I didn't know it was a thing. And I'm still obviously have no idea, I'm not a carnivore, but it's an intriguing lifestyle, you know?
Mhm.
So I found you and you're definitely like you're really in the community. Like you're not just eating meat just to eat meat. Like I watch your posts and like you're deep in the community. So tell me what that community is like, that carnivore community.
I personally think the carnivore community is awesome. They're a bunch of really cool people who are extremely nice. Like when I first jumped into the carnivore community, everyone was so welcoming and nice and helpful. And it really does feel like a team, not just people looking out for themselves and things like that. You could pretty much message anyone in the carnivore community, maybe not like Paul Saladino or someone huge like that, but you could pretty much message anyone in the carnivore community and they'll talk to you and explain things to you if you're having issues. A lot of carnivores do coaching to help new carnivores out. So it's a very welcoming, fun, kind of family oriented, positive, hopeful community. It's the best. I think it's the best group of friends that I've had in my life, honestly.
Okay. And as far as the famous carnivores go, is there anyone that you look forward to, you look up to the most, someone that inspires you?
I would probably say Sean Baker. because he's the reason that I did go carnivore, so I look up to him a lot. I actually got to do an interview with him, so that was really cool. It was kind of
Oh, did you?
surreal.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, so I got to do an interview with him, and that was awesome. If I would love to meet him in person, I just think it would be so the people that I'm connecting with on a personal basis, I'm looking forward to meeting them more than the huge ones that I don't talk to.
Yeah, well, I think with the ones that aren't, the big names, it'll be a more intimate connection. It won't be, kind of like that Hollywoodish kind of style connection, that you get with someone else. But
Yeah.
I read through your bio and stuff, and you mentioned that the lifestyle helped you. Now you like healed your gut and your skin. So tell me what that was like before, like your gut issues and skin issues.
So growing up, I struggled with extreme constipation to where I was only going to the bathroom once every few weeks. So it was pretty bad. And that was my life until about 19 years old. I went on another type of elimination diet where I went to like a homeopathic doctor because I was sick a lot growing up because I had a horrible immune system because my gut was just awful. And I developed a mistrust with doctors. So instead of going to a normal doctor, I went to a homeopathic doctor, and he told me to just eat fish and chicken for a couple weeks and then slowly start reintroducing new foods, kind of like what I did with the lion diet. And through that, I realized that I should not be eating gluten. So when I was 19, I went gluten free, and that helped significantly. I lost a bunch of weight. My skin cleared up a little. My gut issues started to heal a little, but I was still going to the bathroom only maybe once every week or every week and a half, things like that.
Wow.
So I did that for 10 years. And then I still had acne though. I still did have gut issues. I had severe mood swings that just seemed uncontrollable. Like when they would hit, they would hit. And it's weird because people tell you like just be nicer, just control it. And unless you've actually experienced that, like you don't understand how much it controls you. And you can't really just like stop yourself. So I would have extreme mood swings. I was extremely insecure. I had just weight that I could not get rid of no matter how much I worked out. And around 29 years old is when my husband found the Sean Baker Joe Rogan episode and showed it to me. And that's when I went carnivore. So those were kind of my issues before was constipation, acne, everything pretty much stemmed from my gut. Like all my immune system problems, my acne, my mood swings, it all centered around the issues that were coming from my gut.
Okay. Okay. So as far as gut health, right? Because other communities, we're not gonna call anyone out, but other communities they say uh, animal-based products, more specifically red meat, is really hard to digest. It takes a bunch of days for it to digest, and so all of that is just what like bullshit propaganda and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that it's just not true.
Yeah.
Meat is the most bioavailable, one of the most bioavailable foods a human can eat. So your body is absorbing most of it, so there's less waste in your colon. So if versus when you eat fiber. So growing up, I was constantly told by doctors just eat more fiber because you have to push it out of your body. And that never helped. It just made me more and more constipated. Because with fiber, your body's not as absorbing as much because it's not as bioavailable. So there's more waste inside of you that needs to come out. which is why people think fiber makes you poop, but it doesn't actually make you poop. It just makes your poops bigger because there's more waste in there. uh, so, but with meat, it's so bioavailable. Your body's absorbing and using so much of it that there's less waste. So it's not sitting in your colon. It's not rotting in your colon. Your body's using it, and I think you could. I think I've heard people say that have the I don't know what they're called, but the like the gastro bags or whatever, where they have to I
Um,
forget what kind of illness it is, but there's never meat, or you never see chunks of meat in your
yeah.
stool. But you'll see like corn and different things like that. But it's you never find meat in someone's stool.
Well, yeah, you see corn, grains, stuff like that. Uh, Speaking of meat, how's the quality of the meat in Japan? I know, like here in the U.S., it's hard to find like high quality meats unless you're going to a butcher or someone straight from farm to table. So, what's it like over there in Japan?
Well, in Okinawa, I think it might be different than mainland because we're a little more secluded. There's Wagyu and things here. Honestly, though, I think it's overpriced
Mm,
for it's not as satisfying as just eating a ribeye. So we don't buy the Wagyu and things like that. So I think it's possible to find really good quality meat here, but I still just like normal ribeyes, and for the most part, we shop at the commissary on the U.S. military post here.
okay,
So we basically are just getting the same food that Americans are getting.
okay. Wait, I didn't ask what branch is your husband. Maybe you had you
He's
said
in the army.
army. Okay, all right, cool. Shout out to your husband once again. I was actually in the Navy. Um,
Really?
yeah, I was in. They one of my options while in boot camp was to be sent to Okinawa, but I wasn't I wasn't I wasn't down with that. But anyway, let's get back to it. Tell me about the lion diet. Like, what is a lion diet?
The lion diet is ruminant meat, salt, and water. So, and it's basically an extreme elimination diet where you're removing everything from your diet that could possibly be causing you issues. And a lot of people will find that they do need to stick with that more long term. Michaela Peterson, for instance, who's the person who named the lion diet and kind of created the lion diet, if you have like extreme autoimmune issues and things like that, you'll have to stick more strict. But then a
Mm,
lot of people find that when they start reintroducing new foods, they don't have bad reaction to them, so that they can have more foods, and not be as strict. So the lion diet, at least for me, I just used it as a tool to see what was still in my diet causing me problems. Because with carnivore, people think carnivore is really restrictive, but in my brain, there's so many options and so many different things you could eat. So I really wanted to narrow it down and use the lion diet as a really strict elimination diet to help me see what I can and can't eat.
yeah, okay. That's interesting because watching your post, that's the first time I've heard of it. Uh, I wouldn't mind trying it. Why not? As far as the carnivore lifestyle, I know you said you healed your gut, your skin, but what are the other benefits of just living that lifestyle?
Well, I think the mental benefits of it are the most surprising and the one that always catch people off guard the most, because we don't really talk a lot about how much nutrition plays a role in mental health in just normal society. So when you switch to carnivore or lion, just the difference that you feel in I feel like a completely different person from what before I was carnivore. It helps your confidence, it helps your mood, it just balances out your energy. You feel more hopeful and more motivated. So it's things like that that you would never think in a million years that my food is doing X, Y, Z to me and making me a horrible person. Like people say, like what I was saying before, people just tell you it's you just got to change who you are, and it's like the food is a huge part of that as
Yeah,
well, and just
I agree.
ignoring that is uh could be your downfall. So I think the mental benefits of it are really awesome. And then there's things here and there where you have less body odor. So you're going to the bathroom less, so you're and you're not in there all the time. You just go to the bathroom, it's quick, done. So environmentally, you're kind of better because you're eating one animal, so it's like one animal, one death. So you're not killing all these animals and killing the soil with buying monocropping. There's much less food waste involved because you can freeze meat for however long. So you're not throwing away extra vegetables or whatever that are rotting in your fridge. There's less water waste because you're not constantly washing things, flushing toilets, example like things like that. Um, you're paying less, you smell less, so you pay less for shampoos and conditioners and body washes. uh, and you kind of realize that all those things aren't really needed as much as you thought they were. And then you do, it is, people do think it's expensive, but then you do save money with those type of benefits in that regard, where you're spending less on little things that you didn't think of that you thought were necessary, but turns out that they might not be as necessary as you thought.
Okay. And as far you mentioned like using the bathroom, is it how is it? How if this might be a little bit of TMI, but like how often are you going like in one day?
In one day, I do not go to the bathroom every day.
Oh, you
So
don't. Okay.
I typically go every other day. And yeah, I just wake up and have to go to the bathroom and go to the bathroom and then it's over. So it's quick, it's not painful, definitely better than before when I was constipated. And I definitely know that I'm not constipated right now because there's a huge difference between being constipated, like feeling like you have to go, sitting on the toilet, not being able to go, like bleeding, straining, like all of those things, versus not having to go and just not having anything in your stomach, not feeling like you have to go. But then when you do feel like you have to go, you go, no problem. So that's basically what it is on carnivore, and it's very common for people not to go every day. You'd be needing to eat a ton and ton of meat to be going every single day, I feel like. And I think Paul and the Liver King have talked about how they go to the bathroom like every day, but they're also eating carbohydrates and fruits and stuff too. So I think that plays a role into it.
Are there any drawbacks with the carnivorous lifestyle as far as maybe someone who's not doing it right? If there's a right or wrong way to do it, maybe some dangers.
I think that people need to find what's sustainable for them. There are some like purists in the carnivore community who, if they see you drinking coffee, they'll tell you you're not a carnivore and that you're doing it wrong. But if you're trying to improve your health, and that includes having a cup of, and you need to keep that cup of coffee in just for your own sanity, then keep that cup of coffee in. Who cares what someone says? So with, as far as my point of view on the carnivore diet, everyone has to kind of figure out what's sustainable for them and what
Mhm.
they're willing to cut out and what they're not willing to cut out in the long run. I think the biggest thing people could do is just cut out seed oils and ultra processed foods. If they don't want to go full carnivore or full lion, just doing those two things would make a huge impact. So if anyone's doing anything wrong, I would say
They cut off. She's in Japan, so this may happen. Hello.